Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Final Whistle ATX.
Episode 1.
All right. Welcome, guys. We finally made it.
Yes.
Welcome to Final Whistle ATX.
Yes.
Episode 1, brought to you by KXAN. We're here at BD Riley's. This is an awesome pub to come watch soccer. This is actually a Liverpool pub. But today we're here to talk about Austin FC. And this show is basically about us, 3 Austin FC fans, having a beer, talking about our favorite team. But before we go too much further in Austin FC, I think it's important we talk about who we are, especially because I got 2 people on my sides here who are from the other side of the pond. So, Harley, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
Just tell us where you're from, why you like Texas more than where you're from, and how you fell in love with soccer.
Okay, so my name's Harley. I'm from the south of England, and as you might be able to see, Tottenham is my team for a very, very long time now. They let me down in glorious ways over and over again, but I can't help falling for them. I've been a soccer fan for such a long time, moved out to Texas in 2018, and I've been trying to catch as much as I can since then, so I'm just very happy that we have Austin FC now to watch on Saturdays.
It's got to be hard to keep following your team with the different time difference, right?
Yeah, the time difference is a little funky, but once you get used to it, it's really not too bad. Just a few early starts, but that's okay.
Right. And so what part of England is, what side?
I'm from the south of England, just outside of London.
South of England. So now let's go to Nick. Where are you from?
So
and how did you fall in love with soccer?
Well, I am Nick Bannon. I'm a meteorologist at KXAN. I was born in Bristol, England, but I only lived there for 6 months before moving to Manchester, where I lived for 3.5 years. My parents both went to Manchester University. I am a Manchester United fan because I lived there for a while. And I've been here in Austin only since January, but the weather here is fantastic.
You and everybody else.
Exciting, and the snowstorm that greeted me here for the first 2 weeks of my career in Austin was super exciting. But I can't wait for Austin FC to continue to grow in excitement, and it's already bubbling up as it is.
Well, you were our resident professional snow driver when you came out here to Austin.
Exactly.
Everybody else wanted to drive the snow.
Right.
My story is not as cool as your guys's. I'm from California. My soccer fandom, I've been thinking about this. My soccer fandom, I think, started in 2010, and that's very specific. And the reason is because that was the World Cup. It was the first World Cup that I saw, and that was the one where Spain beat the Netherlands. And I was a big Netherlands fan during that particular World Cup, and I had never seen anything like it, where so many people who aren't even soccer fans really were just gathered watching this thing, and I thought it was so much fun. And I started buying FIFA right after that, and I've been playing FIFA ever since. And that's really how I got to know the names of the players and the names of the coaches and the teams and what divisions they're in and what countries they play in. And so really since 2010, it's been growing and growing and growing. And as you can see from my jersey, I'm a U.S. men's national team fan. So I like to follow a lot of the big teams in Europe where Americans play, you know, like Juventus, Barcelona. Chelsea. Stop me if I'm bragging for too long. Chelsea, RB Leipzig, Borussia Dortmund. But my favorite team is probably Chelsea because of Christian Pulisic, who is the Lord and Savior of U.S. national team soccer. But it's so much fun to be here. You mentioned having Austin FC here in a town that's so passionate about their city and having a team here for the first time. So it's hard not to become just an instant Austin FC fan.
For sure.
And so, you know, with that being said, this is a new team.
Yeah.
And it would not be a shock if a lot of people watching don't know a lot about the team yet, or don't know all the names.
Or they've caught a little bit of one game,
Right.
one out of the 3 games or something like
It's
that.
still growing. So we want to give our audience every week some background on some of these players so you can act like you know a lot about Austin FC.
And impress your friends a little bit.
Impress your friends at the water cooler. That's what this segment's about. So why don't you give us some segments? Why don't you give us some talking points for our viewers out there?
So these are what I think are the 3 big things to take away this week. Austin FC are now a winning team with a 2-1 record.
Yeah,
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
I'll cheers to that.
Yes, after losing the first game.
It didn't look great in the beginning.
No, but what a comeback in the second game against Colorado. And then to win again over the weekend against Minnesota. They're now a 2-1 record. They're a winning team. Austin has a professional winning team.
That's
We
exciting.
don't know what the rest of the season's going to bring, so we don't know how long we'll be able to say that, but 2-1 is a winning team. Also, another big thing that came out of this week was a big schedule change. They were supposed to play 7 away games in a row before the first home game. Now it's going to be 8 away games in a row. The first home game still June 19th against San Jose, but now Sporting KC, we play the weekend before. So that was an adjustment. And then they also had a new signing this week. Manny Perez on loan from Portland. Kind of exciting there to get some new blood in the midfield.
Yeah. So now that we've kind of gotten you up to speed on some Austin FC lingo, why don't we dive into the last game?
Yeah.
Tell me, what was your main takeaway from the last game?
My main takeaway, or at least something that I've been thinking about probably for the last couple of weeks now, Austin FC has 4 good midfield players for 3 midfield slots. You've got Alex Ring, the ringleader, the captain, plays such a vital role in this team in that defensive midfield. I think he's just such a key player in this team. You've got Thomas Pochettino, the designated player, the big name from Argentina. They clearly want to build that midfield and this attack around him as much as they can. You've got Danny Pereira, the hotshot rookie who started the season so well. Just really impressive performances. And now Diego Fergundes, who has started the last couple of games, and to me, I think he's undroppable. 2 goals in 2 games. He's making great runs into the box at just the right time. How do you drop him? So my question to you guys is, who misses out? Because I don't know.
I guess the only alternative would be switching from a 3-4 or from a 4-3-3 to another formation. But Fergundes only really got in because Pochettino had this immigration issue in game 2. So the way that happened, it really almost was a benefit to us almost.
Yeah.
And sometimes the way that happens is you give people a chance, sometimes by mistake, to prove themselves.
Right.
And Fergundes is now undroppable. Maybe Pochettino is droppable. He has been, at least for that second game.
Maybe. And I read somewhere that Pereira is actually dealing with a foot injury. So I don't know how serious that is at this stage, but he's a guy who, like I said, started so well, but he's also so young, lots of time to grow. He's a rookie, lots of time to grow. So maybe he's the one that starts on the bench for now, just because Fergundes is so hot right now. I just feel like you can't leave him out.
Right. I think my biggest takeaway from that last match was the way that we could pass out of the backfield. And part of that was our keeper, but part of it was that back line is just so fluid. It feels like they've been playing together for 3 seasons, not 3 games.
Yeah.
And I think part of it was Ring kind of bridging that gap from central defensive midfield. He almost looked like a center back in moments. He was so far back. And the way that he was controlling the game when he was in trouble, he would kind of allow himself to get fouled and reset. He just completely controlled the tempo of that game. But I was really impressed with the way we pass out of the back line, because that's really pivotal in today's day and age. And a lot of teams just can't do it, and we're there after 3 games, so it's really impressive.
I almost think that the back line are better going forward than they are at defending. I feel there's too many holes in the defense, and we've felt ourselves a little vulnerable to the through ball at times, but getting out from defense to midfield and attack has been super quick.
Can we call it Wolf Ball, by the way? Josh Wolf bringing this possession style of play, and I think that's just Wolf Ball all the way.
Does he think he's Pep Guardiola? I mean, what is he doing here?
I do think it's awesome. This team has an identity so soon in their life.
Yeah.
You know who he's not? Jose Mourinho.
We can talk about that another time. But first,
Breaking
Nick,
Jose Mourinho news.
What's your takeaway from the big game?
Across all 3 games, I was impressed with how aggressive they are.
Right.
Okay? Because aggression shows determination and your ability to try and get the ball back if you lose it. A new team, you're going to lose the ball more than you'd like to, right? But if you can lose it and then go get it back, then you're on your way to making another attack again. And so many times they were going in on some tough tackles, some cards here and there, and we were getting some tough tackles against us too.
Yeah.
But aggression shows determination and their willingness to bounce back, especially after being down to Colorado 1-0 at half. That takes some heart, and I think this team has it.
Yeah, they held on to a lead for 70 minutes or something. Yeah. So that takes a lot of doing in just your 3rd game. To hold Minnesota to no goals when they were looking for one for so long, I think that's really impressive.
Yeah, and that attacking has gradually improved throughout the last 3 games. In the first week, it was really hard. We almost couldn't see it.
Yeah.
It's like, where are we going to score goals from? We asked ourselves that off the camera after game 1. Where are we going to get our goals from? Game 2 came, Fergundes showed up, Cecilio Dominguez played even better. Gallagher showed up as a fireball of energy off the bench.
Oh, yeah.
And it's continued throughout the rest of game 3. So now that we've talked about the last game, we've seen 3 games under our belt now. What do you think is some realistic expectations for this year, Nick? Do you think that playoffs are within reach? I mean, we're 2-1. We're on a 2-game win streak.
So
the first 2-game win streak in Austin professional team history.
Exactly. Well, here's my tempered expectations. Okay. If we end the season as a winning season, that I think is success for us. And that's why I focused on us being a winning team now, you know? You could say some positives came out of the season. I think many expansion teams have a rough first few years. So if you can win your first season, even if you don't make playoffs, I think that's success.
Looking for the positives, I love it. I have to say, I wasn't on the playoff bandwagon when the season started. I thought that might be asking just a little bit too much for this first season, but 3 games in, come on, I'm converted. It's happening, baby. Playoffs or bust.
The energy's palpable, right?
Exactly,
the energy's palpable. I think that, Claudio Reyna has purposely put together a team full of a lot of veterans. We've got some young guys, Kolmanich at left back, I want to say he's 21, and then Pereira is a rookie. So we've got some young guys, but our back line really is a veteran group with Lima and Biesler and Romagna, did I pronounce that right?
And Ring in midfield.
And Ring in midfield, and Pochettino coming in. So we've got really a veteran team. I think we can push for a playoff spot. And to me, what success would look like isn't necessarily making the playoffs, but I want to see us compete. I want us to look like we belong, and like every year we're going to continue to progress. You know what I mean? I want at the end of the season to think, I was great, and we have so much momentum for season 2 now. That's kind of what I want to think.
But playoffs or bust, right?
I think too. We're 2-1, and we've only played away games.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Like when
That's
these
a good
games
point.
come to Q2.
Bring on Q2.
That's why your first talking point was so critical when you talked about the scheduling changes, because we have 8 games away instead of 7, but that means we have 1 extra home game on the back end there. So if we can stay afloat those first 8 games or the next 5 games, we've got an influx of home games where we've got Austinites who cannot wait to go to Q2 Stadium.
And they're already going to some of these away games anyway.
Yeah.
Getting a couple hundred fans to show up in Denver is amazing for a new team.
I went to Q2 Stadium on Saturday. I was actually getting fitted for a suit for my wedding. I'm getting married, by the way. Fun fact. And so
we know that already.
You guys know that, but
congratulations.
our millions of viewers don't know that yet, so now they're in the loop. But that was the first day that the store opened at Q2 Stadium. The brand new, I want to say 5,000 square foot, 2-story merchandise area in the stadium. And the line was like 4 ways, and it was all the way outside of the stadium. It was like an hour wait just to see the store. Not the team play, just to get into the store. And it was also raining. It was a day where we had flash flood warning. So I didn't get to go in. It was too long of a wait for me. But that just goes to show the energy that's around this team, that people are willing to wait that long just to get into the store to buy a jersey or a shirt or a hat.
Yeah.
I think that's just incredible.
Maybe all these away games are helping to just slowly bubble up the interest here.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when
Slow
you know
burn,
that Christmas is like 3 weeks away, you just get more excited with every day leading up to it.
And Christmas is on June 19th this year.
Exactly, yeah. The next game is going to be on
Sunday.
checks his notes. FS1 on May 9th at 6:30 p.m. and we're going to play Kansas City. And the home of Austin FC really is in the CW here at KXAN throughout the season, but it's not this week. But CW Austin to get your Austin FC information. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add before we pound these beers and get back to work?
I think we covered it.
Yeah, and make sure you connect with us. Use hashtag Whistle ATX if you have any questions or some topics you want us to discuss. Otherwise, we'll be back next week.
And you can find us on the KXAN website under the Austin FC tab. And please tell your friends if you like it. And go on Twitter and tell us what you want us to talk about for the next episode. We're always open to new segments. So with that being said, cheers to
the next
episode
game.
1, Final Whistle ATX. We'll see you all next week.
Cheers.